Alright guys, another brand new video, this time with some Warzone gameplay. So I hope you enjoy it. Also, just a quick note on how I actually make these videos. So I pre-record, actually, you know what? If you want to know how I actually make these videos and why it chops and changes in my voice tone, leave a comment below. But today I want to talk about Coles and Woolies and how they are absolutely ripping off every Australian out there. And for some reason, we all still use their services. Even though, with the information I've dug up and I've found, there is a lot of crap that they do to the everyday Australians to maximize profits, and somehow it's just crazy. So let's get into this. Let's talk about it. Let's go. So, has anyone noticed the absolute state of grocery prices right now? A bag of grapes costs $9 bloody for a tiny punnet. A block of cheese is a luxury item at this point, and it won't be long before they start putting security tags on the bigger soon. In 2025, these supermarket giants are finally copping some heat, and a full-blown government and ACCC investigation is happening, and let's be real, the findings look cooked. This whole inquiry kicked off back in late 2023, and since then more and more dodgy stuff keeps coming out. Price gouging left and right, those specials that aren't specials, and a duopoly that's been taking the piss for years unchecked. So basically, after COVID and all these, supply restrictions and all these, there was obviously a lot of supply issues after COVID and for that little bit of time after COVID. So I guess in order for Coles and Woolies to be able to sell things, or I don't know why they decided to increase costs and blame inflation, and inflation's doing this and inflation's doing that. So they have increased prices. Now, you will see throughout the video bits and pieces of, like, there's an app that some guy makes on TikTok that sort of shows the price history of an item. So there will be references on the screen, but I'm not going to specifically talk about what's actually being shown on the screen. So the governments are even talking about, and this isn't a joke, forcing these companies to sell off stores or completely break up. That's how serious it's getting. Whether they'll actually grow a spine and do something instead of just talking tough is another question. Knowing our government, probably not. Politicians love to chat about the cost of living, but when it comes to actually taking on these corporate behemoths, yeah, we'll see about that. So what the government does to the everyday Australian is, the government, not only do Coles and Woolworths think that the everyday Australian is a complete and utter fucking moron, right? But the government does too. Okay, the government that we all voted in, I didn't vote for them, but the government that is currently in power, and not that the other government would have been any better, but the government that's currently in power likes to use what's going on as a tactic to get your support. Oh, we're gonna do this, and oh, let's look into this, and let's look into that, and let's make Coles and Woolworths sell some stores. Let's make Coles and Woolworths drop prices, because what it does is it makes you, not you specifically listening to this, but it makes the person who is hearing it feel that they're being heard and that they're wanted, and that their voice matters, because they're frustrated that everything is so expensive and the good old government is taking on Coles and Woolies. However, historically nothing ever fucking happens, because the government are a bunch of bitches, especially the Labor government. They are especially a massive bunch of bitches. Now, I'm making a video on them soon, coming out soon, but what actually can happen is these governments can, by all means, make Coles and Woolworths not be as powerful and have as much power and price gouging as they do. But unfortunately, they pay more taxes than we do. And so the government doesn't want to hurt their feelings, because if they do, they might, not pay as much tax. Anyway. Meanwhile, Aldi and Costco quietly eat into their market share, which you love to see. Oh, hang on. Yes. Aldi now has over 12% of grocery sales in Australia. That's up, by the way. And Costco is opening more stores across the major cities. They're not just cheaper, they're completely changing how people shop. They offer bulk buys, unique brands, and actual transparency in pricing instead of those dodgy specials that Coles and Woolies keep trying to pass off. Now, me personally, I would love, and I do most of the time, do all my majority of my shopping at Costco. I even get my petrol from there. Because in my eyes, I would rather give, not only do I not support the current government, but I also don't like what Coles and Woolworths do. So I would rather my money be taken away from Australia, right, than actually keep it in the country. Now, a lot of people might disagree with that. However, the only way for these Coles and Woolies, not that it even matters at this point, they're just far too big, is to give your money to other companies so that Coles and Woolies actually know that what they're doing is shit and they actually make a change. But they won't. So, me personally, I don't necessarily go to Aldi. There's not a lot of things that I do like at Aldi. There are a few things, but not a lot. But me, I do as much shopping as humanly possible at Costco. Costco, in my opinion, is great. And if you go there during peak, it's always busy. It's just always busy. Packed. Speaking of those specials, let's talk about unit pricing for a second. This one's properly sneaky. You've seen a product labeled as half price or on special, only to find out it's smaller than it used to be, or they jacked up the regular price right before the deal. Classic shrinkflation, ain't it? The media's been all over it lately, and shoppers are finally catching on to what's happening. And here's the kicker. While everyone's getting absolutely rinsed for an $8 block of butter, Coles and Woolies are still raking in billions in profit. That's not an exaggeration. We're talking record profits in the middle of the worst cost of living crisis in recent memory. Wages are flat, inflation's through the roof, and groceries are one of the most significant weekly expenses for most Aussie households. No wonder it's become such a massive political issue that the government tends to do nothing about. There's some growing support for local alternatives to your IGA stores, farmer markets, even those online grocery startups. Most people are ditching the big chains where possible and trying to shop locally. Some of these smaller grocers are absolutely demolishing Coles and Woolies on fresh produce prices and quality. The only drama, they don't have the same convenience or reach yet, but the demand is definitely growing. Curious if anyone watching has made the switch already. Drop it in the comments below. So, there is that guy, that young kid up in Queensland who sells avocados for 30 cents and a bag of fucking onion for $1 or $2. Now, that's who people need to be supporting. Not Coles or Woolies, who charges $9 a kilo for onions, but you get a whole kilo for they're charging $2 a kilo. So you're getting, for the same amount of money, you're getting 5 kilos of onions. Don't hold me to that math, but I'm just kind of doing it on the fly. Now, in where I live in at the moment, it's not really easily accessible to get access to these local grocers and stuff like that. We do buy cold meats, deli meats from a deli. We don't go to Coles to buy ham or anything like that. But it's also a convenience factor that Coles and Woolies are almost like a McDonald's. If you are hungry and you need a quick bite, more than likely there's a McDonald's within 5 minutes of where you are at any point in time. It's just like Coles and Woolworths. They are literally anywhere at any point whenever you need them. And that's why they have such power, because they've been able to create a system where if you need something, you can run into Coles and Woolies. And the way that they've set it up is, man, everything's automated these days. There's no staff when you need them, because you can just go in, grab your milk, go to the self-scanner, scan it, pay 10 times the price. You're not paying a wage. It's literally just money going into these corporate fucking assholes' pockets that is ruining everyday Australians. Then you've got loyalty schemes, flybys, everyday rewards. Sounds great on money, on paper. Save money, get points, earn discounts. But the reality, you're trading away your data, and Coles and Woolies know what you buy, how often you buy it, and exactly what you'll pay for it. There are genuine concerns about whether they're using that data to personalize prices, meaning they could charge different people different amounts based on their shopping habits. It's all legal, but it's also pretty messed up. If you think about the future of Coles and Woolies, they want to make as much money as humanly possible and screw over. Well, they don't really care who they screw over in the meantime. They would rather every Australian live broke and charge $15 for a loaf of bread as long as people are willing to pay for it. Now, these loyalty schemes that they're going to inevitably maybe make every single person sign up to, that you cannot purchase anything from these people unless you are a member, that they, on the shelves, there's no pricing. You go in there, you buy what you need, and then it's personalized pricing. So you might spend, or I might not buy bread only when it's on special. So $5, right? Or $7.50 because it's 50% off the $15 bread. Right? Where somebody else might pay the $15 bread. So every time I go to Coles or Woolies, I'm paying $5 for bread because it's always on special. It's always 50% off. And then occasionally you might go and it's not 50% off. And then the next time you might buy 2 or 3 loaves of bread. Right? And that other person might actually pay $15 for bread. So they're always going to get it for $15. And then they might get a discount to $10 every now and then. And that's going to be the same for everything. Customized, personalized pricing where you won't know how much you're spending until you get to the checkout. But by then it's already too late because, you're not going to go put shit back. You're just going to go broke. And you're going to put more money in their pocket. Some experts reckon we really need a dedicated supermarket watchdog, not just a ACCC doing occasional inquiries when things get really bad, but a full-time body with actual teeth, something that could put a stop to dodgy pricing, investigate abusers, and hold these giants properly accountable. Right now, it feels like they're just making up the rules as they go. Here's the wild card in all of this. International competition. Rumors are floating around that big overseas players like Lidl, Aldi's European cousin, or even Walmart might be eyeing off Australia. They've broken into other markets before. Aldi's proof that it can be done here. However, the Aussie market is tough to crack unless the government steps in and further levels the playing field. I would literally give all my money to a Walmart. Costco and Walmart. You can have all my money. Literally, you see these prices at Coles, one day it's $7, the next day it's $15, and then the day after it's on special for $12.50, right? Like within 3 days, the price has doubled and then gone back down, but you're still paying more than what the price was. Manufacturers or retailers where the suppliers that are supplying this food haven't changed their cost. Coles and Woolies are just like, can we charge this much? Oh, we can. All right, let's do it. And then they drop prices on items that they manufacture to make the competition worse, right? So let's make Woolworths bread $4.50, and let's make, whoever makes bread $5.50. We'll put ours on special for $3.50. We'll put theirs on special for $4.50. We still make more money because we've made the fucking bread. You know what I mean? Like, they just know how to screw everybody. So what's next? Are Coles and Woolies actually going to cop new regulations? Could we finally see some proper competition, or are we stuck with this duopoly until someone forces real change? Pressure's building, people are angry, they're struggling to make ends meet, and they're looking for answers. If something doesn't give soon, the whole system could be up for a serious shake-up. What's the most ridiculous price lately for a basic? Capsicums are $5.50 each. Pretty fucking insane. Drop your shopping horror stories in the comments, and have you made the switch to Aldi or a local grocer? It's actually saving you money. Let's have a chat. So yeah, look, this script that I made actually wasn't too good this time, but overall, in an essence, Coles and Woolies are two big massive corporations that are absolutely trying to fuck the everyday Australian to put billions and billions of dollars in their pocket. Banks are making billions and billions of dollars. The Australian government is fucking taxing every single person. We are headed into a era of humanity in Australia where the average person in Australia cannot get rich and has to abide by whatever the government and whatever these big, massive corporations say we have to. And until the government grows some balls, or until people actually stop giving these people what they want, it needs to stop. It needs to stop. And you need to stop being an idiot and giving your money to Coles. Drive the extra 2 minutes and go support a local grocer. Or go to Costco. Go to Aldi. Put more money in foreign corporations' pockets. Make it hurt Coles and Woolworths, and you won't get screwed, because we are getting fucked, and it sucks to see, and it's sad for the families that can't necessarily afford to live like this just to make Coles and Woolies, greedy fucking old cunt CEOs, more billions of dollars. Anyway, guys, new video coming out soon. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.